and welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon, and today I am talking with Steph Hilfer. Now, Steph, first of all, thank you for spending some time with me and being my guest.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. It's going to be a fun conversation because Steph helps people with branding, helps business owners understand branding. She's a brand coach, a brand expert, and we're going to dive deep in that because, as you know from listening to my show, I love brand strategy. I love messaging and things. She just does it in a different way and takes it to a whole new level. So you're going to love the conversation. So, Steph, let's just take a dive into the deep end of the pool, and let's start by saying, how in the world did you get doing what you do today?
Yeah, I'm going to go super deep into, I want to say the deep end, but we're going to have to go into the shallow end because
Okay.
I started when I was 10. And I know you're like, wait, what? I claim to be a business owner since 10. And I truly mean that because I am absolutely counting my lemonade stand, my
Yeah.
babysitting gig, the cakes, cokes, and pops and candy that we sold off of our front porch. The car washes that I did. My mom had a beautiful garden, like a quarter-acre huge garden. And like we had a menu with all the different vegetables you could buy. And while you all might think, okay, a lot of us did that, that doesn't make you a business owner since 10. I I truly believe that those were some of the foundational years that were kind of paving the way for me to not just become a business owner, but to see how business should be done. Even back then, when I was 10, my babysitting business, I had a business card. I had a punch card that you could earn free hours after so many hours of hiring me. I had a poster that I hung around the neighborhood and it had these little tear offs at the bottom with my parents' phone number, right? I didn't have a cell
Yep.
phone, right? This
Right.
was before when our teenagers were getting cell phones. And it was also when it was safe to like put that out
Put
in
your
the
yeah.
world, right?
Seriously.
Right. And my lemonade stand, like the matching cups, the banner, what I wore, like every single thing that I did innately, even back then, I knew needed to be done properly. Like I didn't even know what that meant, but something innately meant you don't just, throw up lemonade with a quarter sign, you
Yep.
don't just sell garden vegetables, you have a menu.
Right.
You have my parents did such a beautiful job of teaching us that, hey, if you want candy, Coke, ice cream, if you want our house stocked with that for you, you need to figure out how to have enough for you to consume it and then also selling it to consume it.
Yeah.
So we were really blessed. My brother and I and myself were really blessed to have these opportunities, and I always took them deep. And so fast forward from my 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old self, I had the beautiful blessing of several careers with different employers who would just take this constantly running mind of like, hey, we should do this. And I know my job title is just this, but shouldn't I be doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And can I try this? And every single one of my employers, like so blessed to have had this upbringing for my career. Every single one of them were like, all right, okay, go for
Yeah.
it, try it. And so fast forward through, just a handful of beautiful careers with great employers. And I finally started seeing this pattern of every single employer I worked for, I would always say, hey, we need a few of these things. No one really knows what we offer. No one knows the great things that we talk about behind the scenes and what we stand for and what we believe in. You know, our logo doesn't really convey much about all the things I'm getting to feel. And like you hired me and I had the blessing of picking jobs. I feel like I literally got to pick my jobs. I always had multiple offers when I was looking, and I got to pick the one that felt in alignment with things I cared about in the world. But we weren't always outwardly showing that, right?
Yep.
And so I started, every job I would put my mouth in there, put my dive right on into the deep end at that point, and I would say, "Let me do this for you." And after a few of those, I started getting this like itch. I would call it getting itchy, and I wanted to do what I do, but for more people. And I didn't want to become the millennial who, had a new job every year,
That's
right?
right.
And so that is how Vim was born. Vim was born in 2018. Honestly, out on a hike, just thinking about, things that were important to me and the way I wanted to make change in the world. And yeah, we've been helping business owners, personal brands, entrepreneurs really align what people see and what people feel come out throughout their branding and marketing. That
Yes.
was a really long answer, but that's how we started.
That is, but I love the 10-year-old and the lemonade stand, the babysitting card with the punch. I mean, people don't think that way, but that's marketing. That's great. Um, and all right, so let's dive in. I want to dive into the see and the feel and all of that, but I want to start from the beginning, the shallow end there of branding. Brand.
Yes.
That's a word it just gets thrown around and everything. And you kind of touch on how would you define, I mean, when somebody thinks brand or branding, what is it?
Yeah. Yeah. The simple answer, I'll give you two. I'll give you a
Huh.
simple answer, almost one word-ish. I'm not really a one word kind of girl, if you guys haven't noticed so far, but I'll give you a very short one word answer. And then I'll give you the real good visual that helps you really
Okay.
keep this in store for you to pull from later, right? So the first one word answer is your brand is your reputation. It's how people feel about you. It's what people visually see from you. It's what people say behind your backs. It's truly your reputation. And then the long answer of your brand, this is where you get to actually control your brand,
Mhm.
is I like to use the visual and the idea of what we see every single day. We're driving around, we're in our neighborhoods, maybe we're working from home and we don't get out very often, but what do we see? We see those Amazon trucks coming and delivering things, those Amazon vehicles delivering packages for us, okay? So I want us to get into that mindset and think about our brand as living in this warehouse, okay? This warehouse that these marketing vehicles have to come back to pick before they can go and deliver things.
Mhm.
So we've got our brand warehouse. We've got all these pick shelves, okay? We've got what we do, how we do it, why we do it, our logo, our colors, our fonts, our visuals, the things we sell, the offers we have out there, the different packages. All that needs to be stocked fully and plentiful in this warehouse because that's your brand. That's where your brand lives. Now, if it's sitting in this warehouse all day long doing nothing and collecting dust, is it serving you? Is it doing anything? No, we
Mhm.
know that. So what do we have to do? We have to get it out to the people. And we do that through our marketing vehicles. Those little
Right.
Amazon vehicles that are driving around. We've got one of these Amazon vehicles comes to the warehouse, picks a couple offers, picks this campaign we're running, picks this new special we're selling, right? Picks it, loads it up in his truck, and this little vehicle is the social media vehicle. He
Mm.
starts driving out there delivering your brand through your social media marketing
Mhm.
vehicle, right? But now the beautiful thing is because we have this stocked warehouse, your email marketing vehicle can drive right on into that same warehouse,
Mm.
pick the same messaging, the same colors, the same offers, the same feelings, the same emotions and messaging that we want people to feel and hear from us, and drive right on out into the email marketing world.
Yeah.
Deliver those messages. The big key difference here is all of your marketing vehicles, whatever they are, print, social media, email marketing, website, podcasting, newspaper, radio, hello, those still exist,
They
TV
do.
ads, those all still exist. They're coming back to the same warehouse that you keep stocked and full. What happens when people don't understand that marketing is the tool to get your brand out there? They just use new marketing tactics every time.
Yes.
Everything looks different. It sounds different. It feels different. And so now this work you're doing to put impressions on your ideal audience, right? They used to say it took 5 to 7 impressions to convert a lead to a sale. Now they're saying it takes more like 22 to 27
Yeah.
because this thing right here, all
Yeah.
day, every day, you know how many times we're served, how many impressions are laid upon us? It
Wow.
takes so much more. And so if you're recreating the wheel and you're not going back to your brand and you've got a new color because the cute Canva template's just so pretty and I want to use it, or this new trend on TikTok is fun, so let's do it. But none of those things align with what you have for your brand. You're working harder. Those impressions are working against you. You're starting from scratch every time, and you're not building up the reputation that I started this conversation on. I know, long answer, short answer, but does that help?
It does. I love the Amazon concept, that warehouse and the different trucks. That's really, really good. That'll preach, girl. Um, because it's really fascinating in going to Canva and changing all that. You're so right. It starts over every time. And the company, I mean, you were just talking in the other company that came to my mind. I mean, Amazon and Prime, I mean, there's semis go down the road with just the smile and you know
Yep.
exactly who it is because they've been consistent.
Mhm.
Apple has been
Mhm.
consistent. And when you see that little logo, it
Mhm.
speaks volumes of everything and how they deliver their products and all that. And an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a small business can do the same thing.
Yes.
That's what I want our audience to understand. And the importance of that is as you go out and do all that marketing, it starts building when it's done properly and when you have consistency. Because I see you on LinkedIn, I see you on Facebook, I get an email, and there is consistency.
Mhm.
So very important. How do you help business owners? Because I know they struggle with this stuff because they
Yeah.
think it's all woo woo and it doesn't really matter, but it does.
Mhm.
When somebody's coming to you, what are they struggling with? What are some of the challenges the business owners are facing before they reach out to you and they go, "Oh, something's not right.
Yeah.
What's happening?"
Yeah, a lot of the times it's people just don't understand. They don't understand what it is we do. We have people who buy, but they don't buy again. We have a turnover in our hiring. We have, people don't realize that we support all these causes. People don't realize that we stand for this. There's this, our owner is amazing. And when you talk to our owner, hook, line, sinker, you're going to buy everything we offer. But when they go to our social or our website, they don't really understand and get that same feeling.
Yeah.
And so it's where what I explain to people, it's that your heart is no longer central to your brand. So at
Mm,
Vim, we do heart-centric branding. That's where we recognize that there is a true heart. And I know I'm going to lose listeners here. I always do, but I want to try to reel you back in, right? I know you hear me say heart and it's like mushy, especially my male audience. I love y'all, but I know a lot of you have not been primed for most of your
yeah.
life to feel good about this mushy emotional stuff. But let me share a quote with you that will really shape shift your mind about what business is today. Manoush Shafiq, she's the president of Columbia University, and in 2017, she said, "In the past, jobs were about muscles. Now they're about brains. And in the future, they'll be about heart."
Yeah.
And in 2017, we were in the future. And in 2024, we're in the future. The future is now.
Yeah.
Business is about heart.
Yeah.
You can, like I said, you can shop at the touch of a button for anything and everything you want. No longer do you go to the corner shoe store or the main street market or the local pharmacy because geographically that's what's at your disposal.
Right.
Now, all of those things are at the click of a button. And so consumers no longer shop out of necessity and demand and geographics. They shop because they feel from you. And
Mm-hmm.
how are we going to get them to feel from you if we don't start tapping into the heart of what
Right.
we do?
100%, girl. One of my marketing philosophies I learned from Roy Williams, who's a marketing guy, is you win the heart, the mind will follow. And so
Mm-hmm.
in all of my marketing, everything that I do, I tell people I'm heart centric. I don't use those words, but I'm trying to reach your heart. I want you to know, like, and trust
Mm-hmm.
me. Trust is an emotion,
Yep.
right? And that's where we really need to be. So what I tell my audience, fortunately, they have been primed because that's all I talk about is reaching the heart. You bring it to a whole new level of making that brand consistent over everything you do. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so important because people are searching online for all kinds of things, right? Before they ever connect with you and schedule that free consultation, they've been on TikTok and LinkedIn and Facebook and your
Yeah.
website.
They do
And
their
they're
homework.
if they're seeing different things, if they're confused, you've lost them.
Yeah.
But when that message is crisp and clean and consistent and clear and compelling, trying to think of another C word, it
Concise.
helps them convert. There you go.
Ah, there we go.
It really, because they feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Heart. It's a feeling, and you've got to
Absolutely.
be able to know how to do that. And the challenge is most business owners, most people don't have the skill set that you have. So how do you work with businesses, companies, and owners, entrepreneurs to help move in that direction?
Yeah. I'm going to answer that question, but I really quickly, because I know I said I might have lost a few people here with my heart emoji, mushy, mushy. Okay. So I want to hit the number brains, all you number people who are like, okay, if this is actually going to move the needle, maybe I'll listen in. So let me first drop this and then I'll tell you how we actually help you get there. So Forbes did a study, and they did a study on brands who were consistent and cohesive across all platforms with their branding, right? Visuals, intentions, messaging, things like that. And they did a study and they found that brands who were consistent and cohesive had an increase in 24% revenue.
Yeah.
If you are $1 million business, that's a $250,000 boost to your budget.
Yeah.
Boost to your budget.
There you go. Yeah.
So
It pays off.
it pays off. And so the way we help people do that is we have a couple offers, a couple different ways that we support people. So the way we started, right, which is kind of backwards, but the way we started supporting people, and if you're watching on YouTube or wherever Michael is cross posting this beautiful episode, all these books here are actually brands that we've supported. So we create this beautiful visual brand book. And within that, everything that you see, your visuals, logos, and colors, fonts, photography, patterns, shapes, everything like that, is influenced by your intention.
Yeah.
So your brand clarity, your brand language, your brand messaging, your core values, right? And so we work one-to-one with businesses to help flush all this out. If you're like, I do not have time for homework, I just need someone to do this for me. We sit down together. I do not put lipstick on a pig, so you do need to give me some time, but we sit down together and I get all of this stuff that's been living in your head, your heart, and your gut. I pull it out of you and we help create everything that is genuine and true to you into a 100-page book. And if you have a 100-page book all about all of the heart of the matter of you, you now have all of the tools you need to repurpose that into your marketing vehicles, email, social, print, everything. We also have that's a big investment in yourself. It's a big time investment. It's a real serious matter. And so we also offer some self-paced and group program offers for people to start to tap into the intentional side of branding. And all of that can be found on my website. So I'm sure we're going to talk about that, or I'm sure it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
But we have a variety of ways we can work with people. But what I like people to know is you're going to work deep. So if you're not ready to start, and I'm not trying to hypnotize you, we're not going to pull out past trauma and break you, right? We're just going to go deep into the heart of the matter. And that's how we start all of this.
And that's so good to go, because you have to go deep. I mean, some of the best coaching programs I've been a part of over the last 5 or 6 years have sent me questionnaires, and you go deep. And what it does is it helps me to really uncover the real answer, number one. And then as I get that, I'm like, oh, I guess that does make sense. And then I start communicating that, and my audience, my ideal audience, resonates with it because I communicate. I'm done with the surface level stuff, the Charlie Brown's teacher, wow, 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 wow.
Yep.
Right. And I was using this the other day, and I think it's honestly, in the computer world, I keep going back to this, but it's so good. You have Apple, Macs, and then you have PC. Do you know how many PC companies there are? People who make PCs? I mean, there are dozens and dozens of companies that make PCs. And then there's Apple.
Yeah.
Why is that? It's because of the brand that started with Steve Jobs and how he created it from the very beginning, and the consistency and everything. Because when you see that little apple, you know what it means. You trust them if you're a Mac person, right?
Right.
But that's how every business should work. Whether you're a pool company or a plumber or an attorney, it all makes a difference. So you have to go deep to be able to communicate that to your audience, because that's really what they're wanting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, we always go to these visuals. We want our logo to explain what we do, right? Everyone's like, I need my logo to say that I, sell shoes, right? I need my logo to say that I'm a veterinarian. An Apple does not say that you sell computers.
Right.
A Nike swoosh does not say that you sell shoes. We as consumers have associated those offers, those what they sell. We've done that.
but in order for us to do that, it took them consistency over time through marketing, a variety of marketing vehicles with a
Yes,
consistent message. Because otherwise we would be like, who? Right? So no,
exactly.
totally 100%. And a small business owner can do exactly the same thing. I tell people all the time, the first thing you need in marketing is a great message.
Mhm.
And then you have to have great positioning. And that means branding so that when I think of you, I immediately know who you are, what you stand for, and how you can help me.
Yep, absolutely.
It all ties together because that separates you from everybody else. And your brand, I was talking to a guy, I was at a conference last week, and we helped him rebrand his company with new names and new everything. And he brought me his business card that we helped brand him with a new logo, a new business card, and all that. And he's like, Michael, this changed everything because his website was there. Because before that, he was just Joe Schmo financial advisor like everybody else.
Yep.
Now he's something different. It's simple, but it's profound because
Yes.
it does go through everything. It's your business card, it's your logo, it's your brochure, it's your website, it's your right, and it gets overwhelming for people. So that's the beauty of what you do is you can help take a lot of that off their plate, like going, I don't even know what to say, right?
Yes. Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that our English and our school systems did a disservice to us, like our English teacher did not do us any favors when it comes to branding. What every single one of us is going to know, they're going to be told, don't be repetitive in your essays, pull out the thesaurus and use creative words. Okay, Mrs. Smith, I'm sorry. I'm going to negate your
Right.
wisdom. Maybe if I'm trying to get into a college, but if I am a brand, I am going to say just do it like Nike does over and over and over again. You never will hear Nike shy away from just do it. They won't say be empowered.
Right.
They won't say get out there and do the thing. They'll say just do it
Yes.
over and over. BMW will forever be the ultimate driving machine. These
Yes.
companies understand that repetition is absolutely vital and profound to their brand and marketing. They won't, that this is, take nothing away from this episode, but take this permission slip I give you all, right? Take your hand. Steph gives me the permission to be repetitive in
Yes.
my brand. Lock in your brand phraseology, lock in your brand language as different as Spanish and English is, and be repetitive with it. That is one of the most powerful things you can do. And again, that's nothing we see. That's something we feel and
Absolutely.
hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it will honestly be a game changer. I'll tell you from our personal experience. So, years ago, we were struggling with our core message that we take out to the public years ago. And I was at a conference and I had my banner and it had said something dumb on it. Right. And everybody, all the attorneys just kept walking by my booth. I'm like, why don't nobody? So on my drive home from Chicago, I called my son. I said, we got to change something. It's not working. And I was praying and thinking and driving, and I thought, I got it. So I said, we got to change it. Had a conference the next week. I changed it, new banner, pulled it up, and people would walk. So my new message is create your book without writing a word.
Mhm.
Top of my banner. These attorneys would stop and they'd look at my banner and the smoke would roll out of their ears and they're like, what? And I had an opportunity. I've used that, create your book without writing a word. Oh, I don't know, 7 years in a row now. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to change it.
Right.
And business owners don't do that.
Right.
And what Steph is telling you is to do that. But in order to find that, it took hard work, deep work from us. And I'm a word guy. So I was able to
Mhm.
get there. Most business owners aren't. That's why you
Yeah.
need Steph. That's why you need to connect with her and say, okay, I need what you've been talking about. I just don't know how to get there.
Yes.
Have the conversation, right?
Please. Yeah.
It makes a world of difference in top line revenue, bottom line profits, and really confidence for you as a
Mm.
business owner to be able to speak. And then when you leave, that audience, that prospect, that client comes back to your website and they're like, oh yeah, that's what he said, because it's right there.
Yep.
So if you have 5 things on your website, guess what? You're going to say in your sales presentation, those 5 things. And then when they're
Yeah.
on the sales call, those 5 things. And then when they come back, those 5 things.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but it
If you
works.
sell shoes and you're talking to someone and you say, "Hey, our athletic shoe selection is amazing. I'd love for you to go to my website and check out my athletic shoes." But then they go to the shoes and they see sports shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same thing, but do you think that user is going to be like, "Ooh, okay, wait, is that what she meant? I know she was talking about the athletic section she has, but maybe it's sports." why are we recreating the wheel and confusing our consumers? It makes them feel icky. Do we
Yeah.
want to associate this icky feeling with our brand and our consumer and community's experience with us? No, we
Nope.
want to make it easy for them. You can be creative with words. I'm not saying that, but the consistency will definitely trump the creativity,
Yeah.
right? All day long. I could talk about this forever, Michael. I could go on and on and on.
I know it. You and I are cut from the same cloth, and hopefully we could be pounding this into people's brains because it is repetition is the mother of learning, right?
Yes.
But I think the great word picture you gave at the beginning of the warehouse and the delivery trucks is really good. We all need a brand warehouse. Do you have that for your company, or
Yes.
are you letting your drivers go anywhere to pick up your message? That's really bad.
Whatever.
So,
Exactly.
all right. How can people get a hold of you? What's the next step? Where do they find more information?
Yeah. If you want to get a hold of Vim, go to getvim.com. Remember, Vim is spelled with two I's, and that's for Visual Intentional Integrated Marketing. We are a branding agency, so at GetVim, you can find us on social. We're at Instagram and Facebook. I will be honest, if you're liking my energy and you want more of me, I am the most human and present at GetVim on Instagram. Maybe it's the millennial in me, the visual part of me. I just love that platform. So that's where I personally show up the most. You will get me responding. You will get me in the DMs. So feel free to come chat with us. And the easiest way to get started is to look at the different offers we have. And either A, the sales page will tell you everything you need to know and let's get going, or book a consult. Let me answer some of the questions you might have. Let's get
Love
heart centric with it.
I love that. Steph, thank you so much. Thank you for being authentic.
Oh, thank you.
Love that. And just providing so much great information and really understanding how important it is to reach that heart, to be a heart centric business person, entrepreneur, company. That's where the money's made.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. So thanks for being my guest today. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you for having me.